Welcome back to the Record Club, brought to you by Record Store Day, the official charts and National Album Day, and proudly in association with Bowers Wilkins. My name is Jess Izat, and we're very excited to say that our guest today, returning to the Record Club, is Sigrid, all about her new album. There's always more that I could say. So, if you've hung out with us here before, you'll know that we're going to be spending the next half an hour or so talking to Sigrid all about the new record, and then we're going to be putting forward some of your questions about the album for her to answer. So, if you want to get involved, drop us a question in the comments section. I'll be asking a selection of them, and then one lucky person will win. One lucky person who sends in a question will be randomly selected to win a pair of Bowers and Wilkins PX7 Season 2 over-ear noise cancelling headphones. I've been listening to the album in them. It sounds amazing. So obviously, don't miss out. Get your question to us. And if you haven't already got yourself a physical copy of the album, obviously, we recommend you to order one from your local record store once our chat with Sigrid is over. So, let's get into it. This week's Record Club, let's say a big hello to Sigrid. Welcome.
Hello.
How are we doing? Whereabouts in the world are we? And yeah, welcome back, a returning Record Club attendee.
Thank you. It's good to be back. Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. I'm in Bergen. I've been shooting something exciting today, which
Secret.
is really nice. Secret. It was, yeah, up in the woods. That was amazing. I love every time I get to do some work up in nature. And then I'm doing like a talk tomorrow at this industry festival, and then I'm playing a festival in Poland this weekend.
Yeah, for people listening in the UK, Sigrid's described it as our version of the Great Escape. So I imagine
Yeah.
you'll be sharing some pearls of wisdom. What is the panel that you're on?
It's not, it's kind of like a talk
Okay.
with this radio presenter in Norway. She's so lovely. So yeah, we're gonna have a little chat, and we're gonna talk about my career, I think, and then
Oh,
we'll see. I
amazing.
think
You
it'll be
well, I
nice.
mean, you're the perfect person to speak to, especially like you're so comfortable with talking about what you've been through and all the different processes. I know you're a big writer as well. I know a lot of artists will really appreciate that too. So yeah, if you're in Bergen, get stuck in. But obviously, we're here
Do
to talk
it.
about the records. We actually like to start things on the Record Club with a question from one of the many amazing independent record stores that we have in the UK. This week we've got the Rock Box in Camberley asking, how did you capture that perfect shot for the album artwork, and what was the photo session like?
I love that. Also, I love my record shop. I really do. I love my local one in Oslo. But yeah, that shot we got with me jumping on the trampoline and trying to like scream, but like in a nice way, but also
Mm.
because when I scream, I'm like, but yeah, that was really fun. And then the hairstylist was like blowing wind, with like this wind machine thing.
Oh my God, yeah. I've had one with a wind machine before, and I was like, I'm trying to channel my inner Beyonce, and
Yeah, yeah,
instead I was getting pure leaf blower vibes. But yeah, I was gonna guess there was a wind machine involved.
yeah.
Was it
There
one of
was
those
one.
handheld ones?
It was the handheld one. It kind of looks like the one you would actually use to like blow away leaves in the
Yeah.
fall. But yeah, it was very fun. It was a very like big shoot, with a lot of people running around. And it was the first, I think it was the first shoot that we did for the whole album. So yeah, it went from 0 to 100 real quick for that one.
I can't believe you did it on a trampoline as well. Are we talking a big trampoline or a small one?
I'm talking tiny trampoline. It's kind of embarrassing. I'm like, I'm not releasing any behind the scenes footage from that one because it's literally me just like jumping.
Bopping on a trampoline. You know what? Like, you need that stuff to get the perfect shot. So, I
Mm.
mean, yeah. Also, big ups to the Rock Box in Camberley. Thank you for your question. I'm hoping that my record is arriving very soon. I've been listening to the record for a long time. We were just catching up off air actually. That we were talking about the album pre-release. This
Yeah.
was the last time I actually saw you. But I have to say, obviously, welcome back to the Record Club once again. First time we had you on was around the debut album, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
it's been a minute. Congrats on the third album. So, like, how do you feel now that it's out in the world?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm chilling. I'm having a good time. It's really fun. I'm so proud of this album, and there's nothing that I would do different on it. I feel like I've really made an album that fits all of my different ideas. I love the calmer, more intricate, introspective songs, I suppose, like Eternal Sunshine. There's always more that I could say. Jellyfish, I guess, to a certain degree. And then the other more explosive songs like Fort Knox, Hush Baby, Kiss the Sky, Do It Again, I'll Always Be Your Girl. Those songs are a bit more like out there. So yeah, it feels like a really good mix. Reception has been really good, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
you have like the different edges of pop, right? So like that
mm,
feisty, angsty side, but then also, I don't know, Jellyfish is a really good example of that because it's like really fun, but like floaty, but like underwater, like washes over you in the best way.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I guess we can start with the title track. There's always more that I could say. At what point did this become the title? Because did you have the song first, or did you have all the songs and then you're like, actually, this is the one that speaks for the record? Or did you always know that that was going to be the title?
Oh no, I never start with the title for albums. I just start in one corner when I come off tour, and I'm like, right, let's try again and see how it goes. The first song that we wrote for the album was Jellyfish. Or maybe some songs were written before that. You know what? Maybe Eternal Sunshine was written before. I can't remember. It's all a blur. But I remember vividly that like Jellyfish was the one that felt like, oh, this is how I think I want parts of my third album to sound like. It felt fresh, new, different. The vocals were chill. I wasn't trying to like sing. I was just like performing the lyrics in a way. And there's always more that I could say is a song that was written maybe halfway through the process. It was after songs like I'll Always Be Your Girl and yeah, other songs, probably after Kiss the Sky as well, I think. And then we wrote, yeah, There's Always More That I Could Say was written in London. And I didn't mean for that to be the title of the album. I was still looking for the title. I had all these songs. But then when we were discussing it, it just felt like it really popped out and represented what the album is all about. There's always more that you could say in relations, no matter what that relation is. Um, and you could always give more nuance. You could always at the wrong time and the right thing at the right time. Yeah, and also I love it as a title, as in like I'm on my third album, and I've been doing this
Mm.
quite a few times now, and I could always give more context. Just in I'm hearing myself like I'm giving a lot of myself and I'm giving a lot of context to it, and I could just keep going and going and going. But at one point, I'm gonna draw the line, and it's a bit like this is what you get, and I think it's fun and cheeky.
So that push and
Mm.
pull, and I think there's like obviously some serious topics. I mean, you've spoken about like rage, and there is heartbreak in this album. There's like that thread of that. There's the story. Um, yeah, and I also think, oh God, we're skimming through, but there is a
Yeah,
tune that I want to talk about because I've got so many questions. I'm like, we need to get through this. But
sorry, I'm
one of the
such a yapper.
perfect songs to have that as an example. I think Baby, Hurry Slowly. Like it's got that push and pull, it's got the space in the sonics, but then it kind of matches that vibe of like the hurry but slowly. Um, I know there's a bit of a story behind this tune as well, or like the creation of this tune. So I've also noticed it's a bit of a fan favorite. I'm going through your
Ooh.
comments and it's like it's always near the top. There's always someone who mentions it. Yeah, what's the story behind the tune? It's just so bloody catchy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's one of my favorites too. And I gotta say, I thought it was funny how you mentioned that. It's a very like push and pull song, both lyrically, because it's literally like I want it, but like give me some time. It is Hush Baby Hurry Slowly, which is just a lyric idea I had in my phone for a while. But I think it's kind of we took that into the production of the song as well, because we actually changed the tempo like twice in the song. In the second verse, the tempo slows down and then it goes up again later in the pre or something. And you don't really notice it because it's like 1 or 2 BPMs. But it's been interesting to sort that out live. Because one thing is doing it on the record, another thing is like doing it live, and all of a sudden we were like, whoa.
Yeah.
um but yeah, I think that again, like the push and pull, we've brought that out in the production. But the creation of the song, I was doing a writing camp in Bergen that I was invited to by Ashel Solstrand, who's the executive producer on this album. He was throwing together this camp where we basically write songs to pitch. Um, and he was like, you should come as a songwriter and not as an artist. Because at the time, I was just a bit, I had a bit of a writer's block. I just didn't
Mm.
know what to write in the studio. I went in there not as myself. I wasn't thinking about how is this going to sound like me? Does this fit into my type of music? Or like, what about lyrics? And I just like winged it a bit. And it was exactly what I needed. And we wrote so many songs. And Hush Baby was one of the songs that basically I just riffed the melody and lyrics over a beat that the guys were working on. So it was very fun.
Being at a writer's camp, but as a writer and then stripping back yeah, like you said, like thinking way too many steps ahead at
Mm.
the campaign behind it, how you're going to get it out to the world, like what it's going to sound like with you singing it live and stuff. That must have been so freeing.
It was. And there's so many fun songs from that week that people haven't heard. Like it's in my folder. But I felt like I was just putting on a new character every day. And I think it was especially cathartic to me at that time because I think people know me a lot from like jeans and t-shirt.
Mm.
And like, I guess a lot of like empowering pop music or something. And it felt really good to just being able to write completely different things, very different moods. I wasn't thinking about like the patterns that I usually go for or like lyrics that I would usually go for. So yeah, it was so fun and we should do it again.
You know what? I actually, I think I remember like hearing you talk about your work ethic as a writer, and I kind of got the vibes that maybe you tend to work better under, um, I don't know, maybe having like some sort of deadline
Mm,
or a goal in place, or yeah, maybe like project based. And I remember thinking like I just really identify with that, like especially if it's creative, like your brain goes at a million miles an hour, and you're thinking like, how can I do this? So either having like a pop structure, maybe that's what works for you, or like maybe a project base. Maybe that's why this writers camp like worked so well for you because it was like, right, okay, let's like slip into this other mode or character. Would
mm.
you say that's kind of true? Does
Yeah.
that ring true?
No, absolutely. I think I just like a, a bit of everything. I think I'm all about like, is it duality? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like for everything in my life. I love my life on tour. When I go to London, I'm in London probably every second week. A lot of my team is based there. I travel a lot, but I don't think I can live anywhere else but Norway. I love
Mm.
my home life. I was just home now for a few days and just being able to breathe in nature. And I think I'm the same for songwriting as well, that I love these camps where it's just like, let's make a banger after banger, or at least you try. But you kind of work from out of a system or like from a box of like, we are making a pop song and then da 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 da. But I also need the balance of like needing to have time with Ashel, for instance, where we just go off for a week
Mm.
and we're not expecting to write anything good. We literally just 3 weeks before the album release, I told my management, I was like, I need to do something creative now. So I'm gonna go and have 4 days with Ashel and we're just gonna write. And we didn't
Oh.
write any songs, but we wrote so many ideas. But I think it's really important for my creativity and something that I've learned more about this year that it can be really good to just create ideas and then you can let them simmer and come back to them later. And that's how 2 years was born on the album.
Oh, I love like, yeah, that sometimes you need like a catalyst somewhere and then maybe you hear it or see it somewhere else and it will evolve into something. I'm
Mm.
wondering, do you ever think you'd ever do a project where you completely veer from, I don't know, like the pop world that you're known for? Because like there are certain songs on this album where if a few things were tweaked, maybe it could fall into more of a, I don't know, like rock realm or even like a dance realm with some of the more
Yeah.
synthy tunes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think there's a lot of rock influences on this album. I feel like I've always been leaning towards that. Like on all my albums, there's always been some songs that are very, I don't know, like rock alternative, indie leaning, whatever. Um, but I don't know. I
Was
love
it
big
that it
pop
was a Bring Me
choruses.
the Horizon collab, wasn't it, that you did?
Yeah,
Yes, that was it.
I've done
Oh
a
my God,
Bring
I
Me
love that
collab.
tune.
Yeah, that was so fun. Really fun. I think, yeah, and a collaboration is always like a space where you can do something completely different. Yeah, I would be open for it.
Maybe it
100%.
would have to
But
be like an undercover EP or mixtape or something, or like an alternate album or something.
absolutely. But I think no matter how hard I try to write other things, it just slips back into pop.
No, I mean it's your bread and butter, and I've always said I've worked in new music for a really long time now. Makes me feel old thinking about it, but I always think and say to artists like pop is the most competitive to break into because
Mm.
getting it right is just so hard, and you're against like the heavyweights of pop music as well. And if you're good at it, then like what's the saying? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I
Yeah.
just think it is yeah, this is your world. So as much as we'd like to see you test the waters with a few
What
others, I think it's your thing, isn't it?
what would you like me to do? That's
Hmm.
interesting to hear, or anyone listening as well, if there's like a comment section here.
Yeah,
I
if
would
anyone
like
wants
to
to get stuck
hear
in.
what genre
Oh, what could we go
I
for?
should
Like a
be do.
proper like I think we've already touched on like the sort of Indian metal, but like if you went full blown something else. Mm, I think for me, I think I'm just hearing like, certain like Robin or Kylie influences, and when they step a little bit more into dance, like maybe it could be
Mm,
like the
yeah.
dance bangers of the century. I know there are a few more people getting involved with the questions. I'll be coming to them in a second. You've mentioned being in London lots. You mentioned a lot of this record being written, or was it recorded in London as well?
A bit all over. It was written in London, Bergen, where I'm now, Oslo, Ålesund, my hometown. In Tokyo. We went there as well for
Oh
some
wow.
inspiration. But recording was I'm a co-producer on the album, and then it's Ashel, executive producer, and we have James Ford producing as well, 2 songs on the album, um, which was amazing. But yeah, Ashel is a very like versatile, chill producer. So we produced a lot of this album also in parks, cafes. We made a makeshift studio in my parents' house in Olsen, my childhood home, like on the dinner table, put up 2 speakers. Which yeah, that was really fun and didn't it felt like we were just playing. It didn't feel so
Mm.
serious. And I think that's why you can hear that the album has this not childish, but childlike joy about
It's more
it.
playful between you guys,
Yeah,
yeah, because you know each other that well.
yeah.
So also, I want to know what kind of snacks were going down in the studio between you and Ashel, because I remember last time, I know you have a sweet tooth. You had sweets last time we were on the record club.
Yes.
I can't remember which ones they were. Maybe they were like fizzy or sour ones. But what was you and Ashel saying in the studio?
It was a lot of coffee. Ashel doesn't really eat that much candy. It's just me. So I probably had Norwegian chocolate. I remember for Have you heard this song before? That song was made after we had a bunch of pick and mix candy. Me and this writer called Noah, Whammy Boy. He's an artist, he's great. In Bergen, it was raining and we were coming out of dinner, and he was saying like we should just go back to the studio and hang out. And I was like, hang out? Oh my God, yay! Doesn't have to be work. And we went back and had a lot of candy and wrote the song.
Hey, look, maybe that's the ticket. You can share that at your festival, your panel talk tomorrow. Okay, let's hit the questions. Patrick on the Record Club's X has said it's related to our previous conversation. What would an orchestral Sigrid album look like?
Oh, I would love that. I would love that. Ooh, there would be a lot of great ballads, like proper, like there's always more that I could say type of vibe. And then I would love to make, yeah, as we were talking about earlier, more like dancey stuff. Just imagine like dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun,
lots
dun,
of
dun, dun,
strings, big
dun, dun.
strings. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
liking that already. Right.
Oh,
Whoever can make
also
it
a
happen,
bit
make it
like
happen.
Burn the song Radiohead song Burn the Witch. Dun,
Oh,
dun, 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 dun. I would do a lot of that, like strings that feel like beautiful, but also slightly like off.
are we doing a
Maybe a
writing
bit
camp?
like,
Is this what it
yeah,
feels
I
like?
don't know. I'm thinking like John Hopkins with the Oxford
Oh,
Orchestra, and then some like ethereal vocals. Maybe it could be cool.
John, big listener of the Record Club, get in touch. Thank you, Patrick, for your question.
Love it.
We've got Robert on the Record Club's Facebook who says, if you had to pick which song felt the easiest to write and which was the most challenging?
Mm. Jellyfish was maybe the easiest song to write. It came in like a couple hours. We were watching Napoleon Dynamite in this super sweet studio in my neighborhood in Oslo, me and Ashel. Yeah, that one just felt as easy to write as the song is. And it's still the demo vocals. It's a lot of demo vocals on these songs because I feel like I just sing the best when the lyrics are fresh. And I'm not singing to be technically good. I'm just pouring my heart out. Whatever is on my mind. The hardest song to write, I can't remember the hardest song to write, but I remember the hardest song to produce was Kiss the Sky. Because we were just really tired by that. And we'd been working really hard on producing the album.
One last push.
It really felt like, and we just locked ourselves in the studio, me and Ashel. And it was a studio with no windows.
Oh,
And we just sat there for days on end trying to figure it out. But we did in the
you've got a
end. And
song about the sky and the studio had no windows. What is
that's
that about?
true. That was a bad idea all along. But we did it in the end. Yeah, it was fine.
We have Robert on the Record Club's. Oh wait, no, that was his. That was his. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
Nigel on the Record Club's Instagram says, "Hello. Do you still start the production on the piano? And
Mm.
what factors contribute the most to keeping a song a stripped back ballad as opposed to a full instrumental swing?"
I don't, well, the first half of the question, I still I still probably write most of my songs on the piano. I get very restless in the studio. I can't sit or stand for long if I feel like someone else is like doing a lot and I'm not like a part of it. That's something Ashel has to tell me sometimes of just like, can you just like let
Just
me work on this idea for like 30 minutes? And I'll be like, ah, okay. But yeah, so I write a lot on the piano probably still. Some of these songs were written on guitar by me as well. Both I'll Always Be Your Girl and Have You Heard This Song before I started writing on guitar. And I'm not a guitarist, but I think there's something magical that happens when you write on an instrument that isn't your own. Um, so yeah, it's a big part of me still.
I'm
Although
always
harsh,
so impressed when artists like an artist like, I don't play this, and then they pick it up and they just start like digging away, and you're like, how did you do that?
yeah, I'm not good though. I'm not good. But yeah, and yeah, in the second half of the question, I'm not sure if I understood that.
So he's asked what factors contribute the most to keeping a song stripped back, as opposed to it turning into like giving more production to the instrumental.
That's a good question. I've never been asked that before. Hmm, what
I
is
feel
the
like
factor?
Nigel might be a musician.
Yeah, hi Nigel. Um, I think it's kind of like the process of elimination, maybe. Like we often like when we start producing a song, we're just like like add a lot of ideas, and then we like take it back. How much can we strip back and before it starts to sound empty? Because often with production, like the fewer elements you have, the bigger it sounds. The more elements, the more chaotic and messy, and it can just sound a bit like crunched and
Mm.
like it's not breathing properly. Um, so yeah, to keep enough space between the instruments. I also really like having like different rhythmic patterns and like let's say the synth and the bass are doing two different rhythms, but like they can meet sometimes and then they can go off and do their own thing rhythmically and then meet again. So it's like it's all living and breathing.
I
Yeah.
imagine there's something in the nature of like what kind of song you wanted it to be. So if you did want it to be like one that you can rock out to, even when you were first writing it, you must think, okay, we're gonna add like bigger drums or something.
Yeah. And sometimes I guess most of the time we produce the same at the same time as we're writing.
Mm.
I often do lyrics towards the end because I think melodies are more fun.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a bit of like avoiding to like talk about it. I'm just like I'd rather just like woo.
I think
But
different bit, yeah,
yeah.
I think there's something in people's brains. Some people are more lyric focused and some people are more like melody. And in
Yeah.
the same way, like when you're listening to music, it's the same thing. Okay, we have one more from Owen on the Record Club's Instagram. He goes, um, you talked about letting this album marinate and come together gradually. How did this compare to your first two? And do you think you'll use the same approach in future?
Good question. Um, I'm not sure well, maybe I'll do it again. I don't know. Let's see. But yeah, I did take my time a bit with this one. I think I had to do like 1 year of writing, 1 year of overthinking, and 1 year of like finalizing it all, putting it together as like a thing, a campaign. But on my first two albums, I think on the first one, Sucker Punch, you kind of have all the time in the world to make your first album because no one knows what you're capable of, so you haven't made an album yet. But because Don't Kill My Vibe and Strangers were my first two singles that I put out internationally, I kind of had a lot of pressure to like follow up that momentum with an album. So I remember that happened fairly quickly. Although I love that album. I think it's great. And then the second one was a completely different process because that was made in COVID
Mm.
in Copenhagen, with Sign Caroline, which was so, so lovely. It was amazing. But it was literally just the three of us together making the album. So that was a very different process. I think that was over like a period of maybe 6 months or something. And then
Mm.
this third one, much longer again.
Had a bit more time, did some writing camps, and came out with the bangers. So there we go. That's almost it for today. I have been sent a note from your label about something that I was going to bring up because I know you spend a lot of time in London. They have said that you are a Spurs fan. Is that true?
Yeah, I was like, what are the labels saying? Yes, I am a Tottenham supporter.
Oh my
I
God,
am.
Slay. Did you manage to catch any of the game last night? There was a big game.
No, and I'm gonna come clean right away. I am a supporter, but this is like from my family. My cousins are massive fans. So when I was like 10, 9, they got me to be a fan of Tottenham as well. So I've just like ever since supported them. But did they win last night?
We won 4-0
Ah!
and
Are
it
you a
was
supporter as
I'm a
well of
huge
Tottenham?
supporter. I actually walked out onto the pitch and was waving the circle flag thingy yesterday. It was like the most unbelievable experience.
What?
So next time you're around a game, we have to go to one. But I will say, if you're going to look up anything after this chat is over, look up Mickey van der Ven's goal because it is goal of the season. So it's yeah.
I'll be checking out. That's so cool that you got to do that.
Yeah, so
Amazing.
Sigrid, the Spurs fan, thank you so much. That's actually all we have time for today. Oh, we do also have to
Oh,
announce the winner, but yeah, obviously, thank you so much for joining us. And people at home, if you're listening, get your hands on a physical copy of There's Always More That I Could Say now that the episode is over. Pick one up from your local record store. Also, Sigrid, actually, what was the name of your local record store? I feel like we didn't shout out
uh,
the name.
oh, it's Apollon in Bergen that I
There
really
we
like.
go. Shout
Yeah.
out, get a copy of the record from there, order one. Also excited to announce that the winner of this week's Bowers and Wilkins wireless headphones prize is Nigel on the Record Club's Instagram. I have to say, I very rapidly was charging my headphones because I didn't realize they'd run out for like 20 minutes before this episode, and they have lasted. So that is how good they are, and the album sounds great on them. So make sure to slide into the Record Club's TMs. We'll get those headphones to you. My name's Jess Izzat. Thank you so much for joining us, sending in your questions. This and all previous episodes are available to watch back on Spotify or YouTube. Sigrid, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.